I'm Joe Zikas. I'm from New Home Notebook. I'm sitting here with an old friend, David Hall, who's Vice President and Managing Broker of Coldwell Banker Residential Brokerage, Lincoln Park Plaza office.
Yes. But real estate is not a risk-free venture any more than the stock market is. Put your money under the mattress then, if you are totally risk-averse.
There are people who are not risk-averse. They're called developers.
Right.
But, what are you telling them these days?
I'm saying if you're going to build something new, there's only one thing, there's one rule. Figure out what the market wants and satisfy that want. Don't build something that you want to build and then with the expectation that you will then find someone who wants to buy it. And that's exactly what I said to developers in the 80s. I said, we have to figure out what it is, where the hole in the market is. When I say where's the hole in the market, I mean a price point, a combination of price point, location, and product, size or bedroom or bath count or whatever, in which there is less competition or maybe very little competition, and where there is demand. And if we can find a hole in the market, and then you build into that hole, we will be able to sell.
And I will ask people to call you to find out where those holes are, because that's presumably something of great value.
Absolutely, absolutely. But there are holes in the market. There are always holes in the market. They may not be gaping holes. They may not be huge, but there are always infill projects, or there are always opportunities for what I call infill projects, for instance, or opportunities to create a new market where there has been none. Whether that's geographically, or whether that's a different take on a product. For instance, when we saw a boom in loft conversions in the 80s, that was a new market in a sense. It was a new product, and that new product, even though it was an old shell, it was a new product being built inside that shell. Those were in non-traditional neighborhoods that had never had residential housing in them, but people went to them, River West, West Loop, South Loop, and some of the neighborhoods, because they liked the product so much, because they liked the ambience.
It was cool.
It was sexy, it was cool, it was cutting edge, it was edgy. Absolutely, absolutely. So that's an example of a product of finding a hole in the market, or finding a niche in the market where there was a really, kind of in a way, inventing a new product or creating a new product. And then from there we got derivations, soft lofts, and lots of derivations to that. But so there are always opportunities for builders. I don't think that the builder market is dead, but I do think that it requires...
What about the builder who's sitting on product? What should he be doing? Or she, but there are a few she's out there.
Depending on what it is and where it is, like a seller of a resale unit who has more in the property than he or they can get out of it. Some developers find themselves in that situation also, where they can't get out of it what they have in it, and so the choices are sit on it and let the interest clock keep ticking, sell at a loss in order to cut the losses. Hardly a novel idea, hardly a new idea.
Why would you want to cut your lender's losses?
It's
when you can collect fees in the meantime.
Yeah, sometimes it's a negotiated settlement, as we know. Rent, in some cases it makes sense to rent some of the units, or even convert the whole building to rental. We've seen a couple of buildings that have converted from, 20 years ago we saw the Buckingham on East Randolph, was built as a condominium. The market was in no mood to take on a new condominium building, and so it was converted to rental for 10 years and then sold.
And I took my properties off the market and rented them for an extended period of time.
Absolutely, and so did I.
Bought large blocks of condos in unsaleable projects and rented them for 6-7 years.
Right. So there are, every builder, every developer out there is looking at what the options are, and what nobody expects to happen right now is for buildings just to we're not going to see the pace of sales that we saw 5 years ago or 6 years ago. So it's a deal at a time. It's figuring out how to assemble, in some cases, package units, like you said, and sell them off. But it's a workout.